coming back to work after the game with Texas State. It was probably the hardest loss that we've had this year that you had to kind of think about because of the fact that I really felt going into that game are two teams very even, that if we played our best football and they played their best football, we'd have a good chance to win. And I'm sure they felt the same thing, but pretty much that's the way it was as a toss-up game. And when you look at the game, it was a 1-point difference. They made one more point, and they made bigger plays than we did. And I say one more point because we had to give them that touchdown to have a chance to come back at the end of the game. But, offensively, you work so hard and as a team in doing the things that you have to do to win ball games when you're building a program. I mean, we have 0 turnovers. We have 98 offensive plays. We throw 50% completion on third downs, 50%, 38-minute time of possession. Every one of those things, you think of how important they are and to go in there and building and winning a close ball game. And that's what we did on those accounts. However, they didn't have any turnovers, and they made more big plays and explosive plays that we call, and really almost all those in the first half. And so they did the little things, and they got the win. Now, I mean, kicking game, we know we missed an extra point. They just through the whole thing. You're always chasing a point. It's hard to get mad at our kicker. He's kicked so many important field goals for us, and that's the first extra point that we missed. But it was critical in this point, just as probably not being able to go for a field goal right before half. It would have been a long one, but he's pretty good at long field goals. But other than that, they just made one more play than us, and we couldn't get that. Looking back, we probably should made more stabs downfield, more attempts at big plays. You can have a back break a tackle and make a big play, or you can call a play that forces the play to be forces the ball downfield and gives you a chance that way. And we didn't do either. And they did in the first half the entire first half. We had one. I want to say we had three passes over 20 yards, 21, 25, and 43, and 2 of those led to our points. They had probably 8 or 9, if not more, big plays that they had in their game plan. So again, tough loss. We've talked about it. We learned from it. That's all part of the process. A loss is not going to be the ultimate damage that it could be if you learn from it and get better because of it. And I think the lesson there is that we just got to make sure to understand, play the best football game that you can play, but you still got to make plays. Football players make plays, and we did not do that. No interceptions, no turnovers on the other team that we got from them as well. So, again, in looking at that game, not a whole lot of negatives other than the score and us not being able to create a big play. 98 offensive plays. I've never had 98 offensive plays in a game in my 25 years as a head coach. Going in now 26, that's just a lot of plays not to do better point-wise at the end. So, again, we've got that game. We've critiqued it. And now we're moving on to Arkansas State, which is a big game for us all as well.
Oh, and Arkansas State kind of breaking down for us because obviously record-wise it's not that good. But what do you see?
Well, Arkansas State's got a new head coach, and they're having to go through the growing pains of that. They've gone with a couple of quarterbacks. Either one, though, you can see they want to throw the football. They are built as a throwing football team. They can run it, but I'm not sure if they don't prefer to throw it. They usually make all their yardage in the passing game downfield. Scored a lot of points through the first few games, but the last 2, not nearly as many. Hatcher, they have 2 quarterbacks, and believe Hatcher's gone the last couple of games. He does a great job of getting the ball in the hands of their playmakers. And so this game, we're playing a team that, again, in our situation, not only do we look at teams that we think we have a great chance to get a W if we play our best, they look at us the same way. And now that you've had some big wins early in your season, you don't see people just not thinking about us or preparing well for us, because you did have that advantage against some of the teams earlier that we beat. They just couldn't see any way we could beat them. And so now we've got to go out there and try to to win a game that against a team that probably feels the same way. Last home game for our seniors, last home game of the year, Veterans Day or Military Day. We'll have special uniforms that day that we have had here for a while, and we will look forward to that. But we're going to have to not give up big plays to this team, and I think we're going to have to score points on offense. We have to assume they have the ability to score points, so we've got to get our offense making big plays like we did against so many of the teams that we played. Troy, South Alabama, we won. Even Liberty, we had some big plays. But that's the kind of thing we've got to have big plays to go along with moving the football, because we did so many things that don't go noticed that were statistically better than we had done in previous games. And then anyway, we got to continue to do that, plus make big plays against Arkansas State.
Is there anyone on that Arkansas State team that you think might be an issue for you guys?
Well, just the Hatcher, the quarterback, what they do with the football offensively, and they got a couple of defensive ends that can put pressure on and sack. I think between two defensive ends, they got 13, 15 sacks between them. So that's pressure on us from their skilled people at the edges rushing the ball. That concerns me. Their quarterback, his ability to run the offense and get the ball out to the receivers to score points. They've had over 500 yards of passing in one game already, a couple of 400-yard passing games. So I would say we've got to be able to stop their passing game, the quarterback. And then their two rush ends have been very, very good at tackle for loss. If you look at tackle for loss and sacks, that makes you play behind the chains. And we're a team that doesn't play as well behind the chains. Nobody does, but some are better than others. But if we have tackles for loss or sacks, we haven't been able to overcome that nearly as much.
Obviously, new coaching staff, the majority of the players new. Do you even bring up the series history?
Well, people brought it up to me. I'm not a part of the history either, but I'm now a part of ELM and the history that we have at Arkansas State, and it's one that we're going to have a lot of people that take this one real serious. Now, I take every game serious. Every game is critical to moving our football program along. So it's a critical game for us. And so, one, I have not. I have not misunderstood the importance of this game in the sense that it's our next one, and it's one that would give us another win in our season. But to the average, to the long-time ULM fan, this is one they really want to win. This is one of those games that's a lot of people circle this on their calendar.
There are going to be some growing pains with Chandler Rogers. What was your takeaway from his performance? And could we see more Jair Wright or the update on Rhett Wright?
Chandler, I think we saw him, and I don't want to say he got tired. I mean, 98 plays. He's having to get checkoffs every play, make the calls at the last second, then find people, just like in all of our passing games. Anytime we have a short pass, there's always a deep ball somewhere. And as you relax back there, when they don't cover the deep ball, you go straight to it. He was so tired at the second half, or so almost mentally exhausted, that he didn't take advantage of opportunities. But more than that, his ability to move around, you get tired. I think looking back, if we weren't quite ready to play Rhett Rodriguez, Jaya, you're in a game like that, he's still learning how not to throw turnovers, and you're saying, boy, I'd like to get him in a different situation. Rhett could probably put our offense in a better position to be successful. He wasn't quite ready. I believe we'll hear word later on this week whether he'll be able to get the nod to go ahead and get into a game. But so it was clear, if you could have rested the first team quarterback for a couple of series, give him a breather, give him a little bit of time to gather himself. Because for almost the entire second half, every play became critical, and it put a lot of weight on him. And he didn't have a terrible game, but made no plays. No great plays that we made. Yeah, I don't think we had a run. We had one run over 15 yards, I think, and that's not very good. And then, like I said, the passes that we had, a 43-yarder, a 25, and a 21-yarder. Those were all that we had that were over 20 yards. And so that kind of tells you a little bit about what we weren't getting done. It's hard for any team to say, okay, we're going to take a 12-play drive and score, or a 16-play drive and score. So, and because we had some long drives in that game, but couldn't finish those drives with a big score. And so, but Chandler will he's a great young man and learns and gets better. But we'll analyze that, whether to play, give some other quarterbacks some breathing room in there too.
I know as a coach, you're always anxious to see how a team responds to a loss, especially a difficult one like that. What did you see on the flight back?
Well, I mean, everybody, that one, like I said, that one hurt more. It hurt me more. And I tend to think players recover a lot better than coaches because we can't, in our careers, that's one you can't get back. Although I'll say that their head coach did a great job in putting them in a position to be successful under stress. And I think he'll do a good job if given an opportunity there. But the players respond very well. We've had meetings already. We'll start with a good practice Tuesday and Wednesday. And, my focus is on men. If that game leads us to play better, then we've got it. We use it for what it is. If we don't, if we stay despondent or lose our confidence, because one thing our players have bought into, they believe that they can find a way to win against whoever we play, and so. That we've got to make sure that's still there because when you get a loss like that, and who knows, you got a lot of people, fans and players alike, that start thinking down the road. That puts that different game on that fifth victory possibility. Well, right now, it's still looking for a fifth victory, but we kind of have refocused on let's just win the next game, play the best football we can be, let the rest of it take care of itself.
Coach, you talked quickly about Senior Day, but in your case, as you're building a program, I would imagine as you look back, as you build this foundation, how fond you are of the guys at stake.
Yeah.
Because with their buy-in, you were able to really kind of start the rehabilitation process a little quicker than maybe some expected.
Right. Yeah, Senior Day is a special day. I think we need to make sure we recognize our seniors. Be honest with you, when you come in here in 1 year and you didn't sign anybody, I'm not sure who our fourth-year guys are, fifth-year guys, or sixth-year guys with the pandemic. There'll be seniors that come back for another year. I'm not sure I've looked back at it so much that I know exactly which ones are coming back. We have a good idea. But the game is especially important to them, that they put a bow on that, just put a special emphasis point on that with their last home game at Malone Stadium. And so we've got some outstanding seniors. And again, as I told them, continue to play hard. Let's win one game at a time. And I believe you can come back many years from now. And you will be recognized in 2021 as a team that set this program on the right direction. And they've already done that. I think they've already done that in so many ways. But each game they're able to put another exclamation mark, an extra one on after every game, as these seniors that were here have been through a lot for this program, and I believe they've already established themselves as getting us moving in the right direction, and still. With 3 games left to play, a lot of possibilities are out there. We just have to make sure we can take care of this next one.
Coach, I got one more for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Will Derrick has really come on the last couple of weeks, leading receiver for the second week in a row after having that career high game. Just talk about his emergence in the passing game.
Well, Will Derrick's the kind of player you have to love as a coach. One, you look at him, he's skinny as a rail, and he laughs about it, and doesn't look very dangerous. But a walk-on that we awarded a scholarship to has really good ball skills and good speed, and we hope people underestimate him. But with all of our throwing to Boogie Knight a lot, he's been able to get on the other side and take some of the pressure off that other position on the inside slot receivers. But he's done a great job. He's smart. He's got good football sense and football savvy. Tough time blocking on the perimeter because of his weight, but he works at it pretty hard. And so we're awful proud of him just because he represents the carryover from last coaching team, the carryover, the walk-on, the fact that we need walk-ons to come out there and believe they can play. He's a great example of that, and he's a good student athlete as well.
Coach, you talk about building this program, defending your own home turf. One at home. I guess that's another thing you certainly want to rally around.
Yeah, I mean that you really, if you could pick and choose now, you want to get wins any way you can get them, and hopefully, as a coaching staff, I tell my coaches, don't place success on things you can't control. You can't control whether you're home or away, so you don't want to get into the stigma where we just don't play very well on the road. But if you're going to win some and lose some, how much better it is to win at home. Your people who come to games who want to be excited and are excited, and they walk away talking about a game. They've had 2 or 3 already. Every home game that we won, they've been able to walk away talking about what a great game it was, how exciting that was, and we've been very after homecoming win. They just were excited there. So home games can be of much more value to your team than the others, except when it comes to wins and losses and how much that adds up for bowl games in winning seasons, it doesn't. But in reality, for the overall success of your football program, if you have a choice, you sure like to win at home. And so I don't want to focus on things we can't control when we lose on the road, but I also don't want to have the players think just because we're playing at home we're going to win the football game. We've also lost at home, and so we got to go out there and play our best football, play like we did last week in overall major points, but take care of the little things. Don't give up the big play. Create a big play, and those are the things we got to do at home if we're going to have a chance to beat Arkansas State.